Now, those of you that have followed this channel for a while, you'll know that I'm no fan of the mega carriers. Business is business. Business can be dirty, and sometimes you have to learn to take advantage of your opponents. As much as I dislike the mega carriers, there are some useful tips to using them the way they use you. If you're looking for training to get into the industry in the first place, sometimes going to a mega carrier when you're fresh out of driving school or to take driving school, sometimes one of the best ways for some guys to do it, depending on where they live, is to go and roll with a mega carrier, because the mega carriers train all the time. And there's choices. You don't have to stick to one. You can find one in your area. If you've got no other way to work and get your license, sometimes going and signing on with a training program with a mega carrier is the best option available to you. And make no mistake, you'll pay for it. You're working for low wages for a while, or there'll be some deal, but it's not a bad way to break into the industry to learn to drive. So you can use them to train you to get into the industry. The second good thing about working and training with a mega carrier is you'll gain experience where perhaps in some cases no other carriers will take you. All sorts of carriers, you'll knock on the door and they'll say, well, we need guys with 1 or 2 years experience. You hear that a lot. But at a mega carrier, if they've trained you, they'll take you on and you can gain experience working for the mega carrier until you get a year or two under your belt, and then you've got the experience you need to move and go elsewhere if you so desire. Another nice thing about the mega carriers, working for the mega carriers when you're brand new, it's a good place to improve your driving skills. Now let's face it, everyone's going to have a few bumps and grinds and rubs when they're learning to drive truck. You'll get into tight spots with 53-footers. Things will happen, it's inevitable. Until you gain more experience, you're going to be rubbing up against telephone poles and bus stops and fire hydrants. It's just going to happen. Don't sweat it. The mega carriers are well used to this. So it's a good place to improve your skills because they don't even look twice at dents and bangs in their trailer. They're well used to that. So it's a good place to improve your skills until you get better at driving. It's also a good place to get a better understanding of the trucking industry itself. And you'll get to learn whether you like flatbed or whether you like reefer. You'll get to talk to other drivers at truck stops. You'll get to learn from them where they like to work, what they like to do. You'll get to experience living out of a truck and decide whether that's for you or whether you want to run local or short haul. Or it'll give you a good feel for the industry, and there's no better way to do that than working for one of these guys, because they'll have everything. They'll have short haul, long haul, local, over the road, flatbed, reefer. They'll have it all. So you can pretty much get an idea and a feel for what it is you want to do, what type of trucking you want to do. And frankly, the fifth best thing about working for a mega carrier is, often because of the low pay and leaving you out on the road for weeks at a time, you'll come to realize that usually there's something better out there for you. So after you've racked in a couple years experience, you can go job hunting again and get a better job than working for the mega carriers. Now don't get me wrong here. There's guys that are quite happy with a career staying with a mega carrier. Sometimes if they just want to run local and there's a good local delivery program, sometimes they'll stay with a mega carrier and they'll stay for a long time. It works out for some guys. But if it doesn't, at least you've got the experience underneath your belt to go job shopping if you want to. Now there are some good carrier training programs out there. Schneider, I hear lots of good things about Schneider, for instance. Probably the best training program with a mega carrier that I'm aware of. So if Schneider's in your area, you might want to check them out if you've got no other way to go to get about getting a license. Once you've got the license, take off. Love them or leave them is my wife's experience for that. Or expression for that. And I don't think I'd go that far because I'd never love them. But it's a good way to get some experience and dump them. And don't think that they wouldn't do that to you in a heartbeat. So use them the way they'll use you, and you can gain out of the deal. You can get some experience and find a better place to work when you get a little more experience. Those are my thoughts on that. So it's not all bad. You can use them to your advantage. I'll tell you a little story from the days back, way back in the dinosaurs when I was training. I didn't really have any training, and we were all kind of self-taught back then. And I was with a reefer outfit at the time, fairly new into trucking. I'd backed into a pastry place, and they'd loaded 45,000 pounds of frozen pastries, butter tart cups and stuff like this. But as I say, we were all kind of self-taught back then. So they loaded me up. I didn't particularly check the load. I looked in, had a look at it, looked okay to me, pulled out from the dock and closed the doors. Went on to my delivery point, and the ramp that I had to back into was down a steep slope. So, being a company driver, I opened up the doors, and about the last 3 feet of pastry fell out on the ground, because I hadn't learned yet about load locks and securing the load at the back of the trailer, and it never occurred to me that the stuff would even fall out on the ground. Well, of course the stuff fell out on the ground. There were damage claims and stuff like this, but hey, I was a new guy. It didn't come out of my hide, but it was a good learning opportunity, and it's little things like that you'll learn when you're learning at a carrier and you're just there for the first time, and the carriers are covering the cost because they're the ones that are supposed to be training you, and they should teach you stuff like that. So it's little things like that that'll happen to you in the early days, and the mega carriers are a perfect place to learn little things like that. Take care, keep the rubber side down, and I'll see you on the back haul.